Hey guys, so today we're going to go over dividing fractions, and you might be wondering why I have this little face here. That is our visual cue for the poem we're going to learn today that will help us remember the rules for dividing fractions. And it goes like this. Please don't cry, flip the second and multiply. And there's our little sad face there to help us remember that. Okay, so we always want to create visual cues for things that we want to remember. Even if they're silly, they still work. So go ahead and write this down. Put it on your paper. You're going to be writing it on the test. You're going to be writing it on quizzes. You are going to be taking it everywhere you go. So this only works for dividing fractions. Please don't cry. Flip the second and multiply. I'm going to show you how that works in a minute. All right. So let's look at an example here. We have, hopefully you've written this down, 9 over 13 divided by 10 over 13. So we're going to use our little handy poem. Please don't cry. Okay, I'll try not to. Flip the second. Okay, second what? We're talking about the second fraction. So the second fraction is 10 over 13. And when we're dealing with fractions, when we're talking about flipping, that's called the reciprocal. Reciprocal. Okay? So when we're flipping fractions, we're talking about the reciprocal. Okay? And that is really the inverse. Okay? So it's the inverse of a fraction, or the opposite of a fraction. Okay? And so when we talk about reciprocal, all we mean is a flipped fraction. So my little emoji, I guess you can call it, for reciprocal is kind of like this. Like that. And then if you were in class, I would make you turn your hands like this and go whoosh, like that. Okay? To do a little hand movement for reciprocal. Okay? So we go whoosh. That's our reciprocal. So let's whoosh it here. 10 over 13, we're going to flip it. And it's going to become 13 over 10. Okay? Next it says multiply. So once you found the reciprocal of the second fraction, this now becomes a multiplication problem. It's no longer division. Okay? So 9/13 stays the same. The division becomes a multiplication, and you have found the reciprocal of the second fraction, which is 13 over 10. Okay, so at this point, your next step is you can do one or two things. You can, just like we talked about in the multiplication video, multiply straight across, and then simplify, or cross cancel and then multiply. And of course simplify if you need to. So in this case, I don't want some big old number at the end that I'm going to have to simplify, so I'm going to try to cross cancel. So I'm going to look at my numbers that are diagonal to each other. So I have a 13 and a 13. Does 13 and 13 have a common factor? Yes, it does. 13. So I'm going to divide 13 and 13 by 13. So 13 divided by 13 is a 1, and 13 divided by 13 is a 1. How about 9 and a 10? Does 9 and a 10 have anything in common? Nope, they don't. So next I'm just going to multiply straight across. So 9 times 1 is 9, and 1 times 10 is 10. And my answer is 9/10. Okay, let's look at another example. And hopefully you're pausing this, right? And you're working these out with me, and we're doing this together, and you're active, right? Because that's really going to help you learn. So let's look at another example. We have 9 over 4 divided by 3 over 7. So again, I want to write my poem on the side to help me remember, right? I'm going to write it really quickly here. I'm going to even do my little emoji, my sad face, and I'm going to say flip second, multiply. I like to write it on the side, right? So when I go for a test, I have it right there, ready for me to use. So when you take your test, you want to write down everything that you may possibly want to use in the margins, right? So that it's there and you don't have to recall it during the test when you're feeling nervous. So I have written it down. I get to refer back to it. Okay, so I want to see this, right, on your work. I want to see this on your quizzes, that you're writing this down. All right, so I'm going to follow these rules. Flip the second. What's that called? Flipping a fraction. What do we call that? Hopefully you said reciprocal, right? Inverted fraction, reciprocal. All right, so if I flip it, this becomes 7 over 3. All right, and then it says multiply. Okay, so this is no longer a division problem. This is a multiplication problem. And 9/4 stays the same. Just drop it down. Doesn't change. Okay. Next thing, I can either multiply straight across or I can try to do some cross canceling. I see an opportunity to cross cancel between this 9 and this 3, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Can you think of a number that can divide into both 9 and 3? Hopefully you thought of 3, right? So 3 divided by 3 is a 1, and 3 into 9 is a 3. Okay? If you want, you can rewrite this over, since it's getting a little messy, right? And then we multiply straight across. So 7 times 3 is 21. 4 times 1 is 4. Uh-oh, what do you notice about this fraction? This fraction is improper. So, can we write our, that says improper. So can we put this as our answer? Can this be our final answer? No, I cannot. So we have to fix it. How do we fix improper fractions? Hopefully you said divide, right? So 4 is your divisor, 21 is your dividend. 4 goes into 21 5 whole times. 4 times 5 is 20. 1 left over. Ice cream cone. All right. First stop. 5 is my whole number. 1 is my numerator. All over 4. Always check. Do I have the same denominator? Sure do. So my final answer is 5 1/4. Hopefully this was somewhat clear to you guys. Give a shot at the homework, try a couple, and save your questions for the live class. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.